Giacomo's. Sal, he's the man. Giacomo's Italian Market. We had him on the podcast. We're doing a pop-up together. I don't know if I've met anyone who as real as Sal. He hugs me every time I see him. I love Sal. And you know what else I love about him? His food. His food is fantastic. It's an Italian Market right over there on College Hill. He's got sausages. He's got his own soda now. There's pasta, there's the rice balls. There is so much stuff over there that is just unique and special. And then you got the menu. The breakfast sandwich I was lucky enough to have, that's killer. The sausage sandwich is killer. The sausage itself is killer. The cheesesteak is killer. Giacomo's is such a unique thing to this area, and I'm so happy it's like 10 minutes from the studio. But Giacomo's, man, they are on... 700 Cattell Street in Easton, College Hill, and you can go to giacomositalianmarket.com. I cannot wait to do more things with him. I'm selling his sausage sandwich called the G-Spot. We're doing that on our pop-ups. So that is Giacomo's Italian Market. Please go check them out. Love them to death. They are a new sponsor, and thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Mindleaf CBD. I'm a lot calmer with this read. You know why? Because I'm using these products from Mindleaf. Liz came on the show multiple times. Awesome story on how she got into this. They are making all their products. We got the barbecue pretzels. The pretzels are fire. The tinctures, those are my big thing that I use. I go to sleep with those. The tinctures knock this groundhog out every time I go to bed. The CBD gummies are great, and the Delta 8s. The Delta 8s are fantastic. They'll put you on the moon. I enjoy that. Seriously though, this is a fantastic CBD product. I stand behind it. I got to use all of their stuff, and it is 100% the go-to thing I use now for joint pain, for going to sleep. The snacks are awesome as well. It's just an added bonus. I'll go over to the store and pick those up. Liz is one of a kind. You can follow their social media, Mindleaf CBD, and then it's mindleafcbd.com that you can order all their stuff online. So if you're not local to the area, if you are local, I suggest you go over to the shop. They have a really cool shop over on College Hill. It's actually close to Giacomo's, which is another sponsor. But that's Mindleaf CBD. Get your tinctures, get your Delta 8s, get your gummies, get all of your CBD needs from Mindleaf. We're doing pop-ups and things together as well. So follow their social media. We are connecting them into the network. So go support them because they support me. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. At Sabrachi Jewelry Design, or Sabrachi. I don't even say his name right anymore because of Zach. He's a sponsor of Now We Go, and he's a sponsor of this show. He's a dual sponsor. He's a gemologist. He's a jeweler. He's specialized in CAD design, and he's also a branding specialist. You need anything at all done in those categories, Matt is the best motherfucker for that. It's D'Antonio and Klein Jewelers in Philadelphia, PA, and he's also going to be doing it soon to be in Lehigh Valley, PA. You can call or DM for appointments. He's in Philly on 726 Sanson Street, and you can follow him on social media at Sabraki Jewelry Design. He's made pendants for finishers. We're working on stuff together. It's not just jewelry. We're working on pendants and all kinds of things. He's making rings. He can do anything that you need, from design to gems to jewelers. He is the real deal, and I'm excited. He's a childhood friend who grew a diamond business. He's a jeweler. We did a podcast with him. It's a cool story. Check him out. Sabraki Jewelry Designs. Mad J's Barbecue, www.madjsbarbecue.com. They take cash, they take credit card. You can order online. Order online is the easiest for everybody. They can also call in their order. They got 2 locations. They are killing the barbecue game. Started out small. Now these guys got 2 separate locations. They're doing catering. They're doing pop-ups at Seven Sirens Brewery. What else can these guys do? The Nazareth location is over at 52 East Lawn Road. Anybody knows where Nazareth is? It's down past 7-Eleven, right next to Rita's. Shout out Calandra. They are at 52 East Lawn Road, and that's 610-365-7275, and www.madjsbarbecue.com. Justin just opened up the second location, and he is a part of Willow Creek Brewery, and that is 643 Penn Avenue, West Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be having these guys on the show, and they are crushing barbecue, catering, in-store, pickup. They're doing it all, man. They're doing it all. Check them out at madjsbarbecue.com, and thank you for being a sponsor. Precision Laser. Precision Laser is a family-owned aesthetic laser practice in Easton, Pennsylvania that was founded in 2019. They offer laser hair removal, laser tattoo removal, vascular and pigmented lesion removal, acne treatment, and more. Their team of licensed experts use cutting-edge technology and safe laser protocols to deliver you the best skin results throughout Easton, New Jersey, and the greater Lehigh Valley. They provide free consultations and affordable pricing to make laser treatments accessible to you all. To learn more about their services or book an appointment, please go to precisionlaserspecialist.com or call 484-306-0089. They are located at 42 South 3rd Street in Easton, PA, 18042. What are they running this summer? Hair removal. I'd like to get this whole thing removed because of what do I want? A summer beach bod. They are running for $165 per session. You pick two: armpits, bikini Brazilian, upper legs, lower legs. This is what we're doing with them. I'm excited to have them, and I'm excited for them to be working with us. They're on the podcast. You can check out everything they're doing on the website, and thank you for being a sponsor. Look good this summer. Look good.
Yeah, what's the government want to look at my eyes?
All right, Never Again Radio. I have no clue what episode this is. Welcome to Never Again Radio, man. I got introduced to you through my buddy Mike. Was like, hey, check this guy out. He's super local. He might do the podcast. We started going back and forth, and I have so many questions. I got to watch your show last night. I got 2 episodes in. I think I was on the 3rd. How did you get into hunting? Where did hunting begin in your life? And like, where did you kind of start your journey and like spending your time outdoors?
Man, my grandfather, my
it's always the grandfather.
Yeah, my pop Eddie, my pop Stu, man, they were real big outdoorsmen. My dad, he's a big outdoorsman. You know, I went to Nazareth High School, man. I grew up, you know.
You went to Nazareth?
I did, man.
I didn't know that. I was there for a little bit. They asked me to leave.
Yeah, I think they were about ready to tell me that too, man. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, I'm red, white, and blue Eagles, man. And I grew up hunting Graysdale, Jacobsburg State Park, man, like all around here. Just, you know, when I got my license at 16, it was off to the races, dude. Like, I was always hunting, always looking for animals, you know, the Poconos, a lot of hunting up the Stroudsburg area,
yeah,
you know, Delaware National or Delaware State Forest, you know, Resica Falls area, all that. So, I mean, you know, hunting's always just been a way of escape for me. It's always been it's just in my DNA, man. It's just something, you know, always. I mean, I don't know. I just drove up here today. I was on 78 to 33. I haven't been up here in quite a while. It's like places I used to, you know, as a hunter, you're always driving, you know, looking, you know.
Yeah.
I'm looking now. I see is like big industrial complexes and stuff, and
they're wrecking the area.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, well, I guess them hunting spots are gone. So it's the area's a lot different now than it used to be, man. It's you know,
they put in the sheets, the Wawa. I mean, even Tatamy over that way is getting completely engulfed. Friends of mine moved because the Amazon warehouses are going in and they're buying it up, and then Lower Nazareth is going to go that way because of they bought Dutch Springs, and that's going to be all warehouses, and it's slowly, you hear about it in the paper, nobody says anything really, it's just kind of talk, and then next thing you know, like I grew up in Bushkill, so I was going down to Wing Gap on 512, and then I was like, what? And I'm like, this used to be like, because there was a section on when you would go past Lieberman's Diner, which was like the big hunting diner, and then you'd go past that, and then Lane Co., which then turned into Giant, was on your left, and there was a field there, and if you'd get stuck in traffic, you would always see deer, and sometimes I remember one time they were like fighting, and my mom was like, oh my God, look at this, and it's like all that shit now is just buildings, and they're not even full, like they're buying it, building it, and then they're trying to sell the buildings. It sucks.
It's crazy. I actually grew up right next to the Newburgh Inn, 191, and
Newburgh
that's
going down.
They took it down yesterday. So crazy.
It's people were like complaining about it, and I'm like, no one supported the Newburgh Inn.
I never went there. I lived next to it. I think I ate there once.
Yeah. I worked at the Newburgh Deli for a while, the cheesesteak place right behind it, and then they were always trying to pump life into that, and then it was always just people running it wrong. It's just typical restaurant nonsense.
Right, I got you.
But last time I went in, they had half the building down. I think it's completely gone by this point.
Yeah, gone.
Yeah, and then they're putting a Wawa in down here right by Giant, and I'm like, dude, this stuff's getting too close.
Hey.
248 was a little bit, that was like, hey, okay, but like, now it's like button up against it, and now we're just kind of like, it's getting smaller, and Bushkill Township's turning into what Lower Nazareth is, and then now it's like I go into Northampton and I'm like, all right, well, this feels like Bushkill, but like you have to go further into the mountains now for it to feel how it used to be. It was farms when I grew up. I remember driving home and smelling cow shit on the way by the baseball field.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. When we were younger, I'd always be like, ooh, and then like, but I would be away, and then I would come home, and that's like what you were used to, is you knew you were home. Cow shit.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. Yeah. My sister and brother-in-law, they actually bought a house. They live up in Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yep, that's where my brother went.
Pretty remote.
Yeah,
still pretty remote.
Yeah, my brother went to Saylorsburg. He still gets like bear in the backyard. There's no like paved driveway to it. Like you get off at the Saylorsburg Hotel, the haunted house there, and then it's back that way. Right. But he's back. He's back in, and there's like people back there that have like pet lions and shit like that. It's fucking, it gets fucking crazy the deeper you go. But I love that stuff.
Yeah, me too. Freedom.
There was a guy who a friend of mine owns a tattoo shop. I don't think the property exists or the animals exist. But when my brother first moved in there, he's like on summer nights, he's like if you were out on the back porch, he's like you could hear the lion going. Ooh. Oof. And he's like, the dog would be looking weird, but my brother hunts. He loves it up there. And when I go up to visit, the first time I was like, why are you up here? And then I stayed up there, and I was like, oh, now I know why. Like, there's no, it's like a little neighborhood, and it's like dirt to get there, and it's like these cool little houses, and then you drive a couple miles, and there it is again, and it's just like, it's awesome scenery. It's terrible in the wintertime if you you don't have four-wheel drive, but they do. You know, like his wife bought a Jeep, and he's got a truck, and he loves that stuff. But we grew up that way. My grandfather always hunted. He took us fishing. I never got to go hunting, but he went with him on a bunch, and we always grew up around that. My dad hunted. It was just how we grew up.
Right. Yeah, perfect. Family tradition.
Yeah. When did it start transitioning that you started noticing that like you could turn this into like something that you would want to film, or like when you were out there, like did you see the show that you're currently doing in your head and being like, hey man, like we could do this? Or like when did you even start thinking that you could turn this into a profession? Because I know it's not easy to do that, and it's a boatload of work that most people don't do.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's a really good question. So let me start at the beginning. So, not to be long-winded.
You're fine, man.
So I went into the Army I signed up at 20. And because I just didn't have a sense or a purpose. I didn't really know what I was going to do in my life. You know, I wasn't going to college, you know, and it was a part of that era where, like, if you don't go to college, you know, you're not a respectable person. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I got to go to the Army. That was a heavy
burden to carry back then.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm useless, so I guess I'll go to the Army. You know? So I went into the Army, and I did that, and you know, I served a couple tours, and I ended up coming home. I got out of the Army, and I was like, now I'm going to become a good person in this world, and I'm going to go to college. So I used my Montgomery GI Bill. I got into college. I was there for about 2.5, 3 years, and I realized it's all smoke and mirrors. Like, I'm not learning anything here. I'm not like, I mean, I'm learning, but at the same time, I already have these skills. So why am I doing this? And I understand that, you know, a piece of paper is important, but at the same time, you know, human skills, communication, networking, selling, marketing, you know, you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just be taught from some tenured professor who's going to get paid either way, you know, telling you, oh, this is what you have to do. It's like, listen, you know, like I already possess these skills. So while I was in the Army, I was an infantryman, I was a sniper, and I was a recruiter. So I used all three of those. So sniper is patience and continuing the mission, 99% boredom, 1% fun. Infantryman, always continue on to the mission, always get to the objective, never quit. Recruiter, networking, sales, how much, how, why, how pay. Need to make sure that you figure out your X's and O's before you can even run the play. So I took those three skills, and I will give Penn State a little bit of credit. I will give them some credit. They honed my ability to, you know, you can't just walk into a room and say whatever you want to say. You know,
yeah.
You know, you got to kind of be tailored. So I'll give them that credit. So I did that for 3 years, and then I realized this just isn't for me. So while I was in the Army, I didn't get to hunt at all, right? I didn't get to hunt at all. And
did that change your mood? Like, could you see like mood swings? Like what? Like that it bothered you that you weren't able to go out?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. Like I mean, there's scientific proof. I don't want to give numbers because I don't really know, but I know that being in the outdoors for a certain amount of time is good for the soul, good
absolutely.
For the mind. I wasn't getting that. You know, walking around with ungodly amounts of weight on your back is not the same as getting to go hunting. So
Yeah.
right. So I basically, when I started to go to college, I had free time, you know, going to school, you know, 3 days a week, you know, going from being in the Army 24/7, 365 to all of a sudden, oh, I only have to be in class for 45 minutes, 3 classes, 3 days a week. I got all kinds of time. So I started hunting a lot more. And then I realized to myself, I'm like, man, I am seeing all this cool stuff. And I grew up watching hunting television. Like most people have like professional athletes that they love, you know, Chipper Jones, Derek Jeter. I liked professional hunters. I liked Rick White, Stan Potts, like these people that maybe no one listening knows who they are, but if you Google them, they have a following. They're pioneers of the industry, of the television hunting industry. And I always loved it. I mean, I went as a professional hunter for Halloween a couple of years in a row.
So
you know?
great.
Yeah, like, you know, like I loved it, dude. I was into it.
Yeah.
So I decided, man, I'm going to buy myself a video camera. I'm going to start recording this stuff. I mean, what the heck?
What year was this?
This was 2016.
Yeah.
So not very long ago, 2016, I started.
How was social media at the time? Because I try and explain to people when I first started doing what I was doing, it was so difficult. Like, it isn't like how it is now where you can like literally go film stuff and then use licensed music on a reel and make a commercial. Like, it was not. And YouTube wasn't the same back then.
No, it was not. So basically, I was doing a lot of collecting, getting my footage. And then I went to a 4-day film school in Ohio called Film the Hunt, which is specifically designed to teach you.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
How did you find out about that?
So I found out about them. They were actually sponsored by a local business called OK 4-Wheel Drive.
Yeah, I remember. My buddy used to work there, Natamato.
Yeah, so they sponsored that show. So I kind of was able to make the connection and meet them. My father used to work there, so he said, you know, hey, you know, you should meet these guys if you really want to do this. I met them.
That's awesome that you have the support from your parents as well.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're 100% supportive. So I ended up befriending them. I went to their course, 4-day course out in Ohio at the Deerassic Classic, it's Deerassic Park. It's an educational nonprofit park dedicated to just whitetails. And it's all their proceeds go to, disabled children. They have a lot of like field trips because it's not just hunting. I guess I said that wrong. It would be like Jacobsburg State Park.
Yep.
How you can take the field trip day there. They have that, but they have white-tailed deer in pens there. And, you know, they teach all the biological stuff about them, and it's a cool event. So I stayed there for 4 days. I learned. Apparently, I possessed some hidden talent that I didn't know. Like I was pretty good with a video camera because I had been playing around.
Break down how the school went, because I'm interested in that because I had gone to schooling for DJ school. It was the Scratch Academy in New York City, and that was the first time where I went something out of my realm. But it was so bizarre to me because like you got there and they had a U, and everybody had their own turntables, and then the teacher had his own turntables, and it was like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe there's a class that's actually teaching it. So when you're saying that, my mind's going like, do they sit down and then they're like, they tell you like, hey, this is the programs we're using. Then do you go out into the field? Is it mostly hands-on? Like, what's that school like? Because it's not a traditional school.
No. So basically it's about 8 hours of learning in the morning. Starting early in the morning, and it's class, PowerPoint presentations, breaking down how to get all the elements of a hunt. See, most people think, when they think filming a hunt, they think, I'm going to sit there with this, I'm going to make this purchase, I'm going to get this video camera, all this equipment, it's going to sit there next to me. Kind of like how these microphones are sitting there, strapped to the tree, and I'm going to wait till the deer comes out, or the turkey or whatever, and I'm going to film it, I'm going to shoot it, and I did it. I filmed the hunt. That is the smallest part of it. There's so much more to it, so they teach you, cutaways, recreates, all of these different things, that you see in the show. It makes the show better. And so they teach you that kind of stuff. Then you go out into the field and you utilize these tools. You come back for like a hot wash after actions review, and you watch every student's footage. And they talk about, okay, how could we have done this better? Could we not? So when you leave there, I don't want to say that you're ready for the big time, but I want to say that you're definitely leaps and bounds ahead of someone else.
Absolutely, because if you don't understand that, and I only understood that doing this stuff because my friends are producers and they work on productions of sets. So when they would do commercials or like they did a music video for my friend, they knew I was interested in this. And then they would be like, hey, you just got to go get coffee and stuff. And I didn't care because like I got to watch how all this stuff's created. And then when you understand what lighting does and like what all these different things do and then how you got to break it down and how you got to edit it. Like if you don't, like I have people that approach me to work on projects and they have no understanding of that. And I'm nice about it because I used to be there. But like, if you don't understand like how that all works and how TV's broken down, like you could spend a bunch of money and then get into a project and then be like, ugh. So like to be able to understand those cutaways and all that stuff, and then like because when you started explaining that, that was one of the first things I noticed when watching your show is you had the cool cutaways where like you know like I think it was the one where I forget what episode it was, but like you shot and then you didn't show the hit. What you showed was the arrow dripping blood, and then you went into what happened later, and I was like, oh, I'm like, he's crushing these cutaways. And then the drone shots. Yeah, like you definitely like tell a story in there, and I was super impressed with it off the bat, and now it's all making sense that you went to the schooling to learn that. What was that like being there? Because you had to be a pig in shit at that point because for you to be able to be like, I want to do this, and then go take classes on how to do it, and then you soak all the information up, plus you have all the stuff from the military that you learned, you had to be, it had to be one of the best parts of your life.
You know, it was really a ride. It was really a journey. And remember, I was still going to school full time at this point. So I'm trying to go to school full time. Yeah. I'm trying to hunt and produce what I thought was going to be a YouTube channel. I thought I was going to start a YouTube channel, man. And it was going to be called Wild Memories. Like, it was going to be cool, man. And I had the coolest name. I was on my way, I thought. But, you know, with anything, there's setbacks.
Yeah.
And, you know, once I left the school, then I kind of like, oh, well, you know, and you can't call and ask questions and all stuff. You know, you have to take what you've learned and retain it. So then I entered into a film hunt learn competition. And that was on national television, too. I was one of the characters on the show. I
can't believe you found this stuff.
Dude, when I'm into something, I'm 100% in.
I love it, though.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm 100%
That's what separates people.
Right. So I did this event with my buddy Robbie, who I served in the Army with. Now, he didn't attend the schools, so I was I'm one of those people that I'm a good learner, but I'm an even better teacher.
Yeah.
And I learn more when I teach.
Yes.
So I was teaching him what I was learning, and I was actually getting better and progressing. I was getting him to my level and then getting myself to the next level. And we went to this event, and we crushed it. We killed it. I mean, we were leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else. It was I don't want to say it was an easy win, but I don't want to say it was an easy win. It was just, you know, I would say this. It was almost as if they had to dial it back a little bit. Like, okay, like these kids are going to wipe the floor here with everyone. You know, we got to make this, you know, fun for everyone. And I understand that from a business standpoint. So we end up winning the whole thing. It goes on national television.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, we win all these prizes and all this cool stuff that hunters love, you know, but it costs money. We're driving back home. We got deer targets strapped down to the roof. Like we're driving.
We did it.
Oh, dude, we got brand new bows. Like I was.
Yeah, that's crazy,
dude. I'm telling you, we probably got like $2,500 per.
So it was a TV show as well that you were doing it on.
The show. So the show is Become One. It's on Sportsman's channel too. It's another show. It's a good show. You should watch it. That's on quarter 1 and 2. I'm on quarter 3 and 4. But,
yeah.
So that'll start in January. So that show, they're the ones that have a school called Film the Hunt. So they're teaching students, and what they're doing is essentially, in my opinion, they're teaching people how to film their hunt and get to their goal of what they want, but they're also looking at a talent pool.
Yeah, they're producing a show inside of it. Right. It's like the UFC doing the Contender Series where they see the best fighters coming up, and then they use that in order to launch them as a platform.
Exactly.
And then if they do well on the show, they already got a following, and then they're going to pull the person in and have the following behind them. Exactly. It's pretty genius on what they're doing. Right. And they're helping their channel and letting people do cool shows.
And helping people accomplish their dreams.
Yeah.
And so they came to me. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit. So once I collected this footage, right? So the hunting season begins. I'm going to school. I'm going hunting. I'm filming everything. I think I'm the next, you know, meat eater. You know what I mean? I'm the man. So, but then I realized with all my footage, what the hell am I going to do with it? I don't know how to edit.
Oof.
Luckily for me, Film the Hunt also offers a 4-day editing course. So I took the 4-day I took the 4-day editing course, and I then learned how to bring my hunts to life. That moment was where Wild Memories was born. That's
where was the editing course at?
Same place.
Same place.
Same place. It's the exact same school, except some people are doing the field production course. Some people are doing the editing course. So I then, so now not only do I have $6,000 in camera equipment and then $2,000 in equipment just for that equipment, on top of all my hunting equipment, now I have a $4,000 computer. Now I have,
I forgot how much stuff I had to buy.
Right, to keep the dream going. At this point, I have made no money.
Yeah. And none of that stuff's cheap. And editing when you don't know it is extremely difficult. And then, like, if you get into something like Final Cut that does not explain anything to you, you're YouTube and stuff. And dude, I forgot all about this. Then you have to buy a computer, because I had a Mac. What's funny is when I bought my Mac to edit, it was way before I needed it. And then when I needed it, technology was so much past that I had to get another Mac. But I forgot all about this stuff because it's very similar to how you get into these things, and it's so many roadblocks that most people are like, I am not doing that.
Right.
And then if you're obsessed and you're like, I don't care. I'm this far in.
Yeah.
I went to these schools. I'm buying the equipment.
Right.
We are very similar.
Right. So then it got even more intense. So now I'm editing stuff and I'm putting it out there,
Editing is hours.
Yeah, and I was not I had a creative mind, but you have to be able to know how to utilize the tools.
It takes a while to get the learning curve.
It's a time thing. Yeah. So I again was all in. Now school is now becoming less and less of something I'm worrying about, and my hunting is all I'm really caring about, and getting out there and getting the footage and getting the recreates and editing. Then I wanted to take it another step further. So I said, all right, I want to learn how to color grade, color correct, audio correct. I want to know how to do it all.
Yeah.
So I got into that stuff. Then I started watching the television shows and really breaking down like, okay, this is a billboard. This is an advertisement.
Yeah.
This is an organic advertisement. So I just became engrossed with it 24/7, 365. And I worked for, here's where it gets interesting. So I ended up interning for that show. I interned for them for a whole season. And then I also worked for some other shows that are very popular on the Outdoor Channel and Sportsman's Channel. So it's Become One, Headhunters TV, Inside Outdoors TV, and then I actually edited and produced and filmed mostly an entire show for a former Philadelphia Eagle, Trent Cole. He has a show, Blitz TV. So I did that for a year.
How did you get linked into doing that? Did you just reach out to him?
He was at an event that I was at.
No, I mean the interning.
Oh, they reached out to me, actually. Become One. They said, you want to follow us around this fall, because they saw I had some talent and I was driven.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, sure. I followed them around for a fall. And then the next year when it came around, I went to an event that's an industry event, and I realized this is my time. So I had business cards. Every show there was business card. And I'm learning now, and for anyone that's listening that wants to get in the industry, that's the secret. If they're not going to know who you are unless you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to tell them how bad you want it.
No one's going to walk up to you and be like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. So many of them were shocked. Many of them were like, oh, whoa, this young guy out of the military comes up here, wants to run camera for me. He's into it. Oh, yeah, I'll call you. So I started. That's where my business really started. That's where it was, okay, $150 a day, blah, blah, blah. You got to pay for my gas, pay for my food.
Yeah.
So I'm working for these shows. Then I ended up getting some editing gigs for some television shows. And then I realized, basically when I worked for Blitz TV.
Were you still doing school or at that point?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes. I was still doing school, still pursuing a business marketing degree.
Yeah. So at least that attaches to what you end up doing.
Exactly. So now I'm working down in South Jersey for Trent for Blitz TV. I'm editing the entire show. I'm filming basically the entire show except for the kill shots that they had from last year. And I brought a lot of things to the table, to take that show to the next level. We ended up going our separate ways. He went his way, and I had my dream of, mutually, and he had his dream, or I had my dream of starting my own show. So I quit in October, mutually, and I ended up starting to film my own stuff. So I filmed in 55 days. I was able to film 6 complete nationally televised episodes for Wild Memories TV.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I got an original 6-episode airing contract, and I literally did it by just walking in to the Sportsman's Channel, pleading my case of why I should have a television show and showing them my body of work, and they were just like, Yeah, how many episodes do you want?
Well, I want to back that up a second because, like, how did you get, like, I mean, I understand where, like, all of the, you know, the story goes up to that point, and then, so you have, you know, did you create your shows to pitch to them, and then you just said, hey, I want to talk to you guys, and then you just kind of came in and was like, look, this is what I want to do, or did you just ambush them? Like,
I just ambushed them. Yeah, I just walked in there and say, hey, I want.
So you were working for them at the time, doing like editing and stuff?
So I was working. So like I said, so like, you know, the industry is very small.
Yeah.
Sportsman's Channel, obviously, Sportsman's Channel, Outdoor Channel are owned by, you know, it's Outdoor Sportsman's Group. They're owned by the same company, so they know my name from the edits. You know, because when I submit the edits, they see the producer slate, so they know, you know, Chris Boomer Davidson. So some of them know me as Chris, some of them know me as Boomer, and I went in there to the guy who's in charge of, you know, basically like a talent scout, you know, contract writer, you know, to find shows to fill slots. I walked in there and I said, it's my time, you know, I want to have a television show. I said, this is how I'm going to fund it. This is what I'm going to do. This, and he was just like, okay, well, how many episodes can you do? I said 6. He said, all right, we'll throw you on in the fourth quarter of 2020.
What did you feel like when he just agreed without being like, well, like, as it didn't seem like they had many things to rebuttal because you had such a well thought out plan.
Right. They were, well, I mean, they had known my work, and I mean, you know, they knew where the situation I had come from with the last show I worked for, and they knew, like, you know, look, if you watch my show and you watch another show, I'm not going to say which one it is, but, you know, if you watch it, you'll see a night and day difference. So they know he brings more to the table than what this other show currently does. So how could you tell him no and say yes to another? That's what I feel like possibly what happened. I don't want to say for certain. I won't put words in their mouth, but common sense is common sense. Yeah. And I feel like they said, okay, you know, we'll try you out. COVID hits 15 days later. Oh, no. So now I'm like, oh, jeez. You're not allowed to go hunting. You're not allowed to go do anything. You're not allowed to do anything. I'm like, well, so I start editing the show. I just start editing it. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'll find a way. I'll figure this out. October comes around of 2020, and the show airs. 6 original episodes. We did 3, and then 3 repeats, and then 3 more, and then.
So during COVID, you edited every show and completely finished it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot of things that I will say during that shutdown, like I think I got drunk for like a week and a half, and the weary time where, like, remember when you weren't allowed to drive and there wasn't traffic, and it was like a sci-fi movie. My friend would come over here in the evening and we would just drink because we didn't know what was going on. But then it came to a point where I was like, hey, you can't do this anymore. Like, you have to figure out your business, because I wasn't getting any money. You know, whatever they sent, the $1,000, it paid rent. Right. You know what I mean? So, like, but then there was a time where I was like, hey, and I remember talking to my mom, and I'm like, she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, because I just also had jumped into this business full time, and I had websites that I was selling, and nobody wanted to buy anything that we had money coming in for. And I contacted all the sponsors, and they were like, hey, you know, like, we're cool with, just let it roll. And then I was like, all right, you have an opportunity to do something with this business that you, like, when will everything completely stop where you can just focus on what you need to do? And then that's really when I started dialing in the back end. How can we make more money on this? And then, like, I started paying attention to making the show better. So, like, if you actually use that time when the world was shut down to focus on something, it's perfect timing for anybody who wanted to level up a business, because, like, I look at, like, the time I have now, and, like, things that I want to do to this show aren't happening till next year. Right. So there was a small window where you could, like, fix the car and then push it back on the track and be like, dude, let's go. Right. So to utilize that time to edit all that stuff, I mean, one, it's going to keep you from not going crazy of just being stuck, but, like, to be able to work on it without a deadline and time and constraints and stress, like, that's awesome that you got to do that.
Yeah. Well, I actually really benefited from, I don't want to say I benefited from COVID.
I did 100%. I mean, as for a business, not like as far as, like,
personal growth.
You know, yeah, like, it was a terrible time. I'm not happy for it, but I tell everybody you can find silver linings in any situation. And if you're business savvy and you're just obsessed, like, which I already know you are now from talking to you for 20 minutes, but, like, if you're obsessed with a project, like, you could have made that project 10 times better in that time. But I tell, you know, like, how this show is right now is only because of COVID. When I was explaining, we got the switcher, and then, like, you know, my the audio guy, he wasn't coming over here because he's got a family. No one knew what was going on. And then I just found guests that didn't care, and they'd come down, and I did a show with these 2 jiu-jitsu guys, and we created our own show during that time, and it kept the podcast going. But like, that time that I had completely, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if that COVID time didn't happen. So I definitely benefited from, but I wouldn't say benefited, is I made something happen in a time where most people sat around and collected and did nothing.
Yeah, see, so the way I saw it was my time to make a move for that, for those people that do want to sit around and do nothing. They can watch my television show. That's what I thought. I said, these numbers are going to be great.
Yeah, that's true too. I had friends that were like, dude, do more podcasts, because that's all people are doing is watching podcasts.
Yeah, there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
Nothing to do. And I thought, well, man, this might work out well for me, and the ratings came back and they were phenomenal for a first time show. And it's like,
so you aired during COVID then? It was still like the pandemic stuff?
Yeah.
That's crazy that's when your show would go.
Yeah, it was, it was a wild time, man. I mean, it was just, the way things played out, obviously, with like the show airing and all that. And it was just very, I mean, if you really look back at like that time era, it was so like tumultuous. The election, Trump's at rallies ripping off,
Tiger
like,
King,
yeah, Tiger King's going on. It's like Wild Memories is out there now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
hey, like this is
cool.
All right, man.
That's cool. I didn't realize that's the time that it broke. It broke, but I mean, what a great time too, is because that's all people were doing is sitting in front of the TV.
Right.
I remember talking to my friends, and we felt guilty about playing video games during the day. I guess we'll day game.
Yeah.
What a weird time. Where did Wild Memories come from, and the name and the branding? And I really like the feather, and the branding on everything you do is solid. And then when I watched the shows, it was like a catch thing that you were doing. So is this something you were saying, or is it something that was a part of what you were doing? Where did Wild Memories come from?
That's a good question. So where did Wild Memories come from? Basically, I knew that I had to come up with a name that was unique, but a name that could be synonymous with really anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be hunting. It doesn't. It could be outdoor stuff. Memories. Everyone talks about memories. But when you take it into the outdoors, it now becomes wild.
Yeah.
So it's Wild Memories. The red feather that I have. Yep, the red feather that I put on there. I needed something in there to identify. Uniqueness, if it just said Wild Memories, it would mean nothing, but the red feather is synonymous in the show. Obviously you see it, so I kind of trying to take it now to a branding situation where it's, the red feather film, if you see the red feather, it's Wild Memories. So we're trying to move in that direction. This is actually an old logo. My cousin, Tristine Harding, she actually made me the new logo. That's the one that you see on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one's a little better. I just like this shirt. It's comfortable, and plus it's from the beginning. So it's like, I figured I'd bring it on here. So, but yeah, I mean, it started, like I said, this started with just me walking in somewhere. Now we got shirts, hats, stickers, cabin decor. I mean, dude, we got all kinds of stuff, man. I'm running, shipping this stuff out, bringing it back, dropping stuff off for people, selling, Alpine binoculars. We work with a store called Autumn Sky. It's in Street, Maryland. They have an online store. You could get on there. They have an array, a selection of all kinds of stuff. Everything from kayaks. Those I don't know what they're. I don't do it, but it was like paddleboard.
Paddleboard,
yeah. They got that kind of stuff. They got bows, crossbows, archery stuff. A full selection of guns, ammunition. They got it all. Fishing stuff. So those are one of our partners. They're Don, he's the owner, Don Collins. He really helps me out a lot, man. So I just want to make sure I mention him during the program. But yeah, so then we moved into, so the show airs, right? And it ends in January. I get my numbers back, and I'm like, ooh, this is nice. So we had.
What's it like waiting for the numbers? Because you don't know what it's doing, do you? Like the whole time, I mean, do they tell you like, hey, the show's doing good, or is it just?
They don't tell you anything.
Ah!
They don't tell you nothing. All they do is say, hey, here's your bill.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So January comes, I get my numbers. They're stellar. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is good.
Real deal.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, here we go. And then I told them, I want to do 10 episodes next year, and I want to be on 3 and 4. I don't want to just be on for 12 weeks. I want to be on for the 27. That's where the big boys play. And they said, Yeah, they didn't even They didn't even question it. They were like, yeah.
That's so great that you just like demand stuff, and they're like, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah,
I was like, all right.
Yeah, we got this. We're already filmed.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Right. Yeah, but little did they know, I'm hanging on by the seat of my pants here. I'm like, because I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Like, still learning, taking what I learned from the old show that I used to work on, and then so now like when you see in the show after the first segment, you see that this segment was brought to you by Locked On Game Camera Security Box. Those are billboards. That was something that I never really did. Now I'm getting into where it's an intense advertisement, 10 to 15 seconds, breaks up the segments, comes back the other way, brought to you by Autumn Sky Outfitters. All wild memories begin under an autumn sky. I'm getting into like the voiceover, taking it to all new lengths. That this whole thing started with me buying a video camera.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
It's crazy when you get into that stuff, and then you start getting into like to the direct target marketing and product placement. And when I watched it, I was like, damn. I'm like, he's hitting this from every level. It wasn't like, hey guys, here's my show. Right. I'm like, because I've gone up to my brother's place, and before football comes on, he'll like have the Sportsman channel on or whatever, and he'll put programming on. But I mean, your stuff, I was like, oh, this is just like the stuff that he was watching, and it's on the level of like hitting it on professionalism with hitting all those marks. And I feel like when you go, like I told a friend once, like I told him everything I wanted to do, and he's like, man, you're really reaching out far. And I'm like, well, if I reach out far and only get halfway, it's still further than how I would have been if I would have just settled for where I'm at.
Exactly.
But I mean, for you to hit all those levels and like that, like, what's that like, getting that all together and like getting the apparel going, and like, because now it's not like, hey, I'm just getting a TV show together. Now it's, I have a TV show, we're building branding, we're getting paid advertising, we're getting the apparel going. Like, that's a monster when you get all that together. What was that like, having to deal with all that?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I can tell you that a bunch of people.
Do you have a team behind you? Or?
Yeah, I do. I do. I have a lot of people that support me, and a lot of people that help me out. I have Wyatt Tolles from New Jersey. He runs Triple T Deer and Bear Recovery. He's the one that was filming the Heartbeat of America.
Yes, yeah. I like how you take the names and tie them into the show. Like the whole show it's packaged. It's packaged well.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I also have my buddy Charlie Prickett. He lives down in Maryland, Kent County, Maryland. It's probably about an hour and 20 minutes outside of Philly, south. I got my buddy Robbie from I'm sorry, I just brainwashed. I got my buddy Robbie Weaver from the Army. He contributes content wherever he can, but he lives in Virginia now because he got a job. But he used to live, by me. He used to live in like Ben Salem area, so we filmed together a lot. I got my buddy Dakota Miller, little buddy.
Yeah,
from the Bear Hunt. He lives out in Ohio, so I got him. I got his brother too, Dale. Actually, next Tuesday, their episode, they have a featured episode of the Miller brothers. It's called Chasing Those Wild Memories. Don't want to miss that one.
That's cool.
So they're on there. I got my buddy Mark Meeker. He's the one that runs the Jurassic Park out in Ohio. Him and his wife Madison, newlyweds. They're on the show. I got Johnny Dale down in North Carolina. He's the legendary Johnny Dale. He's known. He got stung by a stingray, survived. And he's got some of the best North Carolina moonshine you have ever tried, buddy. I'll tell you that.
So awesome.
Yeah. So we have a team, and obviously, like I said, we have the sponsors. Andy and Doug from Rubline Scents. We got Don Collins from Autumn Sky Outfitters. We have Mark and Rick White from Alpine Optics. So I have support around me. I have help. I have people that I can rely on. Some of them are, hey, I need you to film me, or I need you to help me build this scene. Some of them are, hey, I need business advice.
Yeah.
Some of them are, hey, I need you to call this guy and handle this right now because I'm 26 hours into an edit and I'm not pulling away from it now. I need you to call him and make sure that we get this contract done. So a little bit of here, a little bit of there. Dakota, he lives out in Ohio. Obviously, he comes to New Jersey and hunts. Oh, I'm sorry. I also want to mention Ron from Locked On Box. He's a very big help to me, too. That's where we killed the bear on his property. Him and his wife, Trish, love him to death. Great, great, great people. And they treat me like I'm their son. I come there, they got, fudge pops in the freezer, whatever you need, whatever you need, you're here. So they help out. Dakota, he would be a situation where it's like, Dakota comes and films me. I film him. You know, he has property in Ohio. I have my spots here in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. You know, so we flip flop. You know,
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, you watch Ohio, I'll watch here, and then we'll get together and we'll either hunt here or we'll hunt there together. Dave Esposito in New Jersey. I think he lives in like Montague, New Jersey. Oh, it's close to New York and Pennsylvania. It's like right where like that triangle area is. We turkey hunt on his property, so you know he's the Dale Farms. He's nice enough to let us hunt up there. So there's all kinds of people that are behind the scenes that make it go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just the face of the brand, the lead photographer, lead videographer, and the editor. So I lead from the front, but a leader can only lead when he has great soldiers behind him. You know, so essentially that's what makes Wild Memories. That's what makes the team, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I mean, well, after you're explaining the military experience, and I never had somebody break down what they got out of the military the way you did, where it's like you take your patience and all that, but you can definitely tell the three things that you mentioned are all how you're organizing this and using your networking and because it's like I know how it is to pick up sponsors and all that. It's not just like, hey, like that, you got to set up calls and get everything together. You got to talk to people about numbers. Like it isn't like it isn't an easy thing to do. And then for you to be grabbing all these people and getting them to work together, and then and then seeing how the shows come out. And I want to touch on the show while we're talking about it here, but like, when I watched the show, there was a lot of things that stood out, and they're all the things that we talked about. It's completely packaged, and I was like, wow, like he's really doing this. The takeaway shots, the transitions, like how you would do close-ups on specific things, how you would do close-ups with like just insects, and like there was a lot of really cool like cinematography stuff that you do. So that whole thing was awesome. Then how you let other people come on the show and be the star. It wasn't always about you every time. It wasn't always about actually I think like you put yourself in the back and then you let the others shine, and then it kind of you come in halfway and then you end with like a group thing, which is what I really liked about it as well, because it wasn't like, oh man, here's his name on the show and he's just doing this whole thing about him. And one of my favorite episodes is when the camera guy got a bear, and then like the other thing that you guys do so well, and I'm guessing what it separates from you from other shows, is your natural reaction and how elated you are, and because it's just how you are, because hunting is in your blood. But when you get the kill, you're like you could tell when you were going to look for the bear, like the guy was like, well, do you think we're gonna find it? And you're like, I'm pretty confident. But you could tell you were like, oh my god. But like all that, like you allow your emotions to dump out on the show, and that's huge, because most people keep it back. But to have learned, or to have just been so natural on camera, I believe that was like the home run, and like the thing that closes the show up is when you got like my favorite part on the bear episode is when he's telling you how it felt, and then he just goes, thanks man, and he gives you a pound. And I was like, dude, that's such like a real moment that would have occurred without the camera there. That is 3 seconds that two people remember for forever, but it's just never really brought up again. You know what I mean? And to capture, you do a fantastic job on the show, man. Like I was really impressed last night.
Appreciate that, man.
How was it getting all that together? Because I know how it is to build an idea out and to capture it, but how are you in the editing room when you're like, when you get it together and you're like, yeah, this is it, man. Like this, because I know what it's like to get into editing, and then how long it actually takes for you to make it your vision. And then once you get it, it's easier to keep doing it. But like, what's that like in the editing room when you finally get it together and you press the preview and you're like, oh, that's got to be relieving to be able to take all that footage with the pressure of the show coming out and then to let it out.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I put the show on the television, and I just walk away. I can't watch it.
You can't watch it?
I can't. I get sick to my stomach.
Do you watch it when you're done editing?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
1,000 times. And and here's the problem. I do all the rough cutting.
Yeah.
All the first draft, second, third draft, all the quality control. I write all the scripts. The show is completely made by me.
Yeah.
And that alone, the anxiety of then seeing something, because, if you watch something so many times, sometimes you don't catch something.
Yeah.
And I cannot watch it on television because I might see like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like most people wouldn't catch it. I will. And it's like, that's why it's like, I can't do it. So I know when people watch the show because then I get text messages, I get calls. Mike DiGiovanni, he'll text me, man, that show was awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, well, he obviously didn't watch it at 4 minutes and 26 seconds. He didn't catch, he didn't catch that little audio error.
That's how I am with everything with this. It's like in the beginning, I used to, like, we were just audio, so we'd be able to get the show done and up same day.
Yeah.
So like Jesse would get the audio uploaded, and on the ride home from the studio, I could listen to the show, and the early ones were a nightmare. And then it's like I listened because I knew where, because I used to be like before every question.
Right.
So like, but then when it went to video, I can't watch them. Like I don't like, I used to have to watch them editing. And what's funny is like I'd get so nervous and be like, that show was terrible. This isn't gonna look good. And then it always looked fine. But I'm so over crucial because I catch the things that happen during the show.
Right.
But I don't watch them anymore. I can't. Well, one, I don't have the time, and two, I just kind of like let them go out. And then like I get my feedback when people are like, yo, that was a really good episode, or like, cool. And then if nobody says anything about it, I look at the numbers and I'm like, all right, and then we just move forward. But it's weird watching your own stuff.
It is weird watching your own stuff. It's like when we're in like the filming stage, like right now we're in the filming stage, right? So, the season opened up in Maryland, it's open in New Jersey, it's open in Pennsylvania, 5C, 5D. In this area, the archery season's open. The rest of the state, I don't think it's till like October 6th or something. But, this time of year, I feel like everybody hates me because they're like, oh, he's such a dickhead. He's like, make sure you get your cutaways, your recreates, blah, blah, blah. I saw a big buck tonight. I don't give a shit. Did you get him on film? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, well, no, I couldn't get it. Then don't even tell me about it. It's like, I got it. Like, I'm a hunter. I love it too. But like, this is my profession and career. And, I love your wild memories, but at the same time, I want to see them. I don't want to hear about them. I want to see them. And you'd be surprised, that level of dedication to where if I see a deer, I'm not even thinking about killing it, like, till absolute last moment. Like, it's get all the footage you can on it and then make it all come together. And, there's a difference between the way I think and a difference between someone that says, man, I want to get on wild memories. I saw a big buck tonight. I shot a big buck. Really? Did you get it on camera? Well, yeah, but it happened so fast and he was such a big one. I just, I didn't want to mess it up. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right, like me and you are not the same.
It's weird when you start creating and you start looking at things differently from a production level where it's like, I'll go places and be like, oh man, like, but I mean, that's how like new ideas come up where like, I was talking to my one buddy and I'm like, yeah, we should like take the show on the road and like we could do it at restaurants and like, you just start talking about different aspects of the show, but then like I'll go into a bar and be like, wow, like this would look cool and like, oh, that's a cool cutaway, and you just start living your life through seeing it. So I mean, I think because like in the beginning of it, what was it, the bear episode where you guys came up on it and you didn't realize it was going to be there, and then you were like, shit, you're like, I don't have my bow ready, you're like, I don't have my camera ready, like, and then you start realizing how much shit is involved in order to get it, especially if a moment just occurs.
Exactly. Yeah. And not only that, it was raining, so that's camera equipment, like, so we gotta bag that up and all that, like, that moment in that hunt, that was literally like our first. I mean, Ron had told us, he said, there's a lot of bears there. He said, we might kick some out walking in. And I'm thinking like, I'm thinking like, yeah, okay, I just hope it works out eventually, and I was totally prepared.
Yeah, there's so much on your plate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was prepared to sit there all day for 5 straight days. I was prepared, like, to not see a bear until we saw the one. I did not think it was going to be like that. Those bears that you saw were all I put in the show. We saw 23 different bears in 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. New Jersey has a serious overpopulation of.
Well, you said it in the
bears.
show, yeah.
Yeah, and they canceled their bear season this year. Governor Murphy said, no, we're not doing it. And the Game Commission came out with like an emergency plea and said, no, we have to do it. And Governor Murphy, in his infinite wisdom, said, no, we're not doing it. So, anyone that lives in New Jersey or Pennsylvania that listens to this podcast, call your congressmen, your senators, whoever you got to get a hold of. We need this season because there's people that live up in Oak Ridge, New Jersey, where their kids can't even wait for the bus.
Yeah.
Because these bears are everywhere. They can't.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's the logic behind that? None?
The logic behind not having the season?
Not having a season.
Well, he's a Democrat. What kind of logic could there be? You know what I mean? What kind of logic could there be, dude? I don't know. I'm assuming it's something for votes or something for, him to look like he's some kind of bleeding heart good guy. But really, the science behind it doesn't back up what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like I mean, the game commission is, you know, they're biologists. They're, you know, like they know what needs to be done, and they're literally saying we need to call.
Yeah, they're not taking a side. They're like, hey, we need to.
Yeah,
someone's gonna get killed.
Yeah, they're like, what are we doing here if you're not gonna listen to us? You know, so they canceled it, and they're not gonna have it. So it's like, all right, a whole year is gonna go by of not controlling this population. Imagine what next year it's going to be like.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now with how you're doing the show, and then, like, you know, we were talking before on like how you're going on different hunts and everything. Are you hunting all year round now because you're filming for the show, and like you need to go to different states, and are people inviting you to property? Like, how has hunting changed for you now? Because, you know, I understand that there's probably a lot of pluses, but you know, like how you were saying, there's a lot more to it now with bringing the camera crew and that. But you also probably now have way more opportunities to go do things that you could have never imagined doing. So like, how has the show changed in that way? Because, you know, you're not going to be able to just keep doing the same stuff. You got to grow the show, and I'm sure just from talking to you, you're already thinking outside the box on where the next hunt is. So like, where's the show going in that direction, or your life and hunting in that direction, where you have to now go to different things?
Right. So you know, Texas. I don't know if you got to that episode yet.
It was episode 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just started it.
Okay, yeah. So I go to Texas 3 times a year.
You guys were on a vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we don't normally do that.
No, because the guy was like, yo, he's like, look where I am. And you're like, yeah, you're standing on the vehicle.
Yeah, you're on top
You keep
of
it
the
very
vehicle.
real, where you leave moments in that I feel like are like hunting moments. You know what I mean? Like, they're the moments you have with your friends on why you go hunting, because even if you don't get anything, those moments are like what makes it hunting.
Wild memories.
Yeah.
It just keeps coming up, dude. I love it. That red feather's everywhere.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, I hunt Texas. Now here's where that team that I was talking about comes into play. Kansas is a draw state. You have to draw a tag to be able to hunt Kansas. So that episode that you saw there at Nichols Farming and Outfitting.
Yeah, episode 2.
Yeah, I can't go there because I don't have a tag. Charlie, the guy from Maryland, who was in the first half of that episode, he did draw a tag. So I'm going to be able to get that content again. So what that leads to as a production standpoint is, okay.
How do you draw a tag for people who don't understand how that works?
Okay, so you would go on to I believe it's like Kansas Wildlife Division of Fish and Game .com, you know, whatever, you know, KWDS.com or whatever it is. You would go on there, you purchase a license. It's like $415 for out of state, and then you enter a drawing for a whitetail, which I believe is like, I don't know how much money it is. I can't remember, you know. So, but you enter that drawing and you get 3 selections. You can do like archery segment 1, rifle, you know, rifles or firearm season segment 1, muzzleloader season segment 1. So with that, you know, you have to wait till I think it's like April. So April, you know, you'll get the email from them, and then you open it up and it says congratulations, or it says
it's like waiting to see if you're getting a job.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, we regret to inform you. It's
Yeah.
like, son of a bitch, you know. So you know, I didn't draw for a tag there. So as a producer of a television show, here's what I'm thinking: I got Charlie going there. I know that. Where am I going to replace that with? So I need to go somewhere else. So if I need to go to Oklahoma or Texas, this is where my team comes in. Dakota from Ohio. I don't have an Ohio hunt last year. Well, guess what? Instead of going to Kansas, we're going to go to Ohio. So we're going to take that there. Dakota's going to be more involved in the show this year, and we're going to bring him to Pennsylvania. We're going to bring, you know, he'll be.
He was great on camera.
He was great. He's an innocent young man.
Yes,
he's little buddy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He
like,
is.
He's got his own character. He's little buddy.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to do that for turkeys. You know, around here, you know, we have eastern wild turkeys. Down in Texas, where the lease is, you know, we have Rios. We're going to replace. Well, actually, we're going to keep them, but we're going to take away one of our eastern turkey hunts, you know, because we hunt in New Jersey, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, all around there. Maryland. We are going to head down south to Florida and get a Osceola turkey, which is, you know, it's a pretty sought after turkey. Essentially, we need to take the show for wild turkeys. It's called a Grand Slam. So there's 4 different species in America. So we want to go after, you know, the U.S. Grand Slam. And then eventually we want to get down to Argentina, you know, and kill.
Now, will you put that in one episode, or will you do that in 4 separate?
Yeah. So a not so very wise man told me one time that whitetails pay the bills, turkeys don't. I believe good content pays the bills.
Absolutely. You explaining that as someone who's not even an avid hunter, I was like, wow, that's cool. They're going after something that's sought after, the Grand Slam. You could tell a story in there. That's a great show.
Right, exactly. So, and the beauty of turkeys is it's a quick story. Like, the Kansas hunt, that was 22 minutes that built up to that, where Charlie kills one in the beginning. Then you see the two boys with their success. Then you see my kill. And then there's still a segment left, which is just, the good times, the good feelings, the recovery. Turkeys aren't like that. When you shoot a turkey, it drops right there, or else it's going to get away.
Yeah.
So you need to have multiple, you need to have 2 to 3 a segment. So if it's a 4-segment show, you're looking at 12 turkey kills in an episode. That's entertainment. So I can make it, just spitball off the top of my head. First segment could be the first leg of my trip, a 2 to 3 minute excerpt, add someone else's kill in there. Second segment, now I'm down here in Texas going after a Rio, 2 to 3 minutes, boop, another person's kill. Then go segment 3, I could have my kill in the beginning, 2 people kill, and then I have my 4th kill at the end. And then segment 4, I could load that with content contributors' kills. So you basically, a turkey episode has to be so entertaining that you don't want to turn away from it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people want to see big antlers and they want to see bears and elk and moose, and we're looking to get into that realm of, Saskatchewan, going to Alaska, doing these kind of hunts, man, to really take this to the next level. But for now, we're turkey hunting, we're deer hunting, we're doing stuff that the average person that watches the show is like, man, I like that guy. I could be just like him,
Yeah.
Again, to anyone, and I say this to a lot of people, to anyone that says, well, how can I get to where you are? You're going to need drive, determination, passion, and my God, you cannot quit. If you quit, it's all over. Like, I'm telling you, it's so many people that I came into this with that I met at that school and stuff like that. I don't even know where they're at anymore. I don't even know where they're at, but they know where I'm at. And that's because in the very beginning, I told myself, like, if I'm going to get into this, I'm all in and I cannot quit.
What year are you on with all this from the start?
What was it, 2001? Year 5.
Yeah,
year 5, and right now we're filming for season 3 of Wild Memories. So, season 3 is going to be better than season 2, and season 2 was better than season 1, and we're growth and change, and now we're starting to get into, like, I handle the television part of it, I handle all that, and I'm the face of the brand, but now we're starting to get into, like, bigger sponsorship, national sponsorship, things that are like, okay, this, it'd be a lot better production if I could afford 2 cameramen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but right now I can only afford 1. So, and I utilize myself as a cameraman. If I had, if I was able to, almost afford a full-time producer, it would change it if I could have somebody rough cut the show, you know what I mean? So I didn't have to go through every stage of it. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, do I want to relinquish that power?
Because is the show going to still look like that? I struggle with that when I talk to people about, I just talked to somebody last week about, they contacted me and they're like, I think we can grow your show and there's these things that you want to do. And then, like, there's a part of me that's like, this is all like this because of me. So, like, how much of this is going to change if I, so more, I'm like, all right, well, how about you just, like, organize and do scheduling and the dumb shit that I don't want to do that slows me down? Like, how about you handle all that crap?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll see where it goes from there. But, like, I like the hands-on. Like, even the editing, it's like a couple times I was going to let somebody else edit it. And then I was just like, well, I don't know if you're going to, like, do the intro the way I do, because I collect a moment of, like, banter back and forth that I already know once the show started. Like, when we started talking and laughing, I'm like, all right, that'll be the roll-in. You know what I mean? For somebody who's just doesn't understand that and it's just being paid to do it, like, it's, I don't know. And then there's a part of me that's like, you just, like, let go of your baby, man. Let it grow up. let it drive. Let it be an adult. Like, it's very hard when you create something from nothing and then you don't have help, or you have help and then, like, the help isn't really help, because once you have help, then the show's bigger, and then it's like, it's hard to relinquish control of something that you've created because you don't know what's going to happen to it. And then you're so protective of it, where I'm like, well, everybody likes this and I don't want you to ruin it. And it's like, so it's a love-hate with that, and it's very difficult to do.
And that's the other thing. Like, I have a lot of people, like, Wyatt and Charlie, they tell me something like, dude, you gotta, like, enjoy the ride, you gotta have some fun here. I mean, I'm telling you, during like the deer season, like, by the time February comes around, I mean, I'm a mental wreck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but everyone's laughing and joking and having a good time. And I'm like, oh, yeah, laugh it up and have a good time. Like,
You're just
get
burned
me
out.
my footage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know at the end, they're laughing and having a good time now. I'm going to be sitting in a computer and there's no way that we can go back and get anything else. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I think personally this season, I think the show took such a leap forward that I think they realized, hey, maybe he is onto something here. Maybe we should not be having as much fun as we are having. Maybe we should view this is something serious.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know, I get put on the cross. I hold the weight of the entire brand on my shoulders.
It's heavy, man.
Yeah, and I have to create the stories and get the edits. And if they miss a cutaway or if they miss a recreate, sometimes I get footage people don't even do the cutaways or recreates. So what the hell am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you how do you get away from it? Is there a time like you on vacation? Like do you unplug from it? I mean, I burned out on doing this. I started it when I was 28, so like if you count, we're on like year 11, year 12 of just me pushing some sort of creative production behind Never Again. But I burned out 4 times, and then like now I can tell when I start, like my mental starts going off. Like, how do you get away?
Yeah. So basically,
You're like I don't.
Well, I don't want to say that because then everyone will be like, "Oh, come on, bro." You know, yeah, I mean, really, I don't. I mean, I would say, well, I go hunting to get away from it, but it's like I feel like it balances itself out.
Yeah.
When I get tired of editing, then I'll do more filming.
Yeah.
When I get tired of filming, I'll get into the editing. But I did go on a vacation this year to Ocean City, Maryland.
Nice. Where'd you go? Did you do anything? Just
Clay.
beach?
Yeah, just the beach, man.
Yeah.
We did the beach. We did the boardwalk one night. We did the go-karts, man. I'm a big fan of them go-karts, dude. Love that. Dude, I'll wreck you. I don't care. I'll spin your ass right out. I don't care. I love it. They say no bumping. I say rubbing's racing.
Yeah, of course. Then they slow your vehicle down.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll just turn this thing around.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, I hate it so much. I hate it. Let's see. Wow, man, what else did we do? Tried restaurants. You know, really just I escaped and got away from it.
Yeah.
You know, I like to do, you know, I mean, you know, I don't really watch the NFL anymore because of the way they act, but I do follow the Phillies. I watch the Phillies, man. But they give you just as much stress. You know, they'll win 4 straight, lose 7. Piss me off. You know, scored 12 runs one night. Last night they barely beat the worst team in the Major League Baseball. They're in a pennant race. No one's at this game, so that tells you something.
Yeah, you were asking. I'm a Conor McGregor fan. I completely relate.
Yeah. I like you know, I like NASCAR, man. You know, I watch the race every weekend. You know, I go to my buddies Mike and Sabrina. They live up in Efford. That's another quiet place too, right up there by Big Brown Lake. I think it's Merwinsburg. You know, play a lot of darts, have some drinks, campfire. Yeah, you know. So you know, I have a balance, man. You know, I go to the gym a lot. You know, I have a life that people see on social media and on the television show, and then I have another life that people don't know anything about. You know, I gotta keep a little private. You know?
Of course. In the beginning, it was hard for me because I just kind of like didn't understand social media, and I put myself out there too much, and I was like living on the stories, and then like and people were enjoying it, and they'd come up to me and they'd be like, "Oh, that shit you were saying last night." And then like when it became too much, then it's like I had to find a balance. And I think over the last year, I found like a really solid balance of like what I want to promote, what I want to put out, when I need to be on. If I don't feel like being on, I can just hit this heavy. And it's like, you know, I look at it as a job now with social media, and it's like you have to keep up with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you also need your life of like, you know, there still has to be a part where like the version of Michael that my brother Richard gets and like my family gets and like, you know, or my friends when we watch the fights, that's my getaway. Is we'll watch the fights down here, and I used to like post shit about that, and then I was like, nah, I don't want to post shit. Like, so like we'll come down and like, you know, a bunch of guys, everybody likes to cook, so it's like everybody brings a dish, or like we'll create something around the fighters. Like if the guys from like Louisiana, like, well, all right, let's do stuff from like Southern food, or like let's do Louisiana food,
some gumbo.
Yeah, so like we kind of do that, and then sometimes we'll just get a shitload of pizzas, and it's a solid crew, and it's like everybody's getaway, and it's like we just yelling at the TV, drinking beers. It can be as loud as we want down here.
Yeah.
So like, but it's important to stay off that. I mean, social media, like if you have to do it, but you also need to have your life, because then, especially like, you know, like how you're very passionate in this, and like from what I got from the show is like you're putting 100% of yourself in there, but like when you do that, it's exhausting, and then you need, even if it's 10% of like a normal life, like when you said you were like throwing darts with friends, I was like, good for you. Like there's just those little moments of like normalcy anymore. To do that.
Yeah, and I try to be I try to be socially active, I guess, almost like politically active. I try to take, one of my big escapes is I really try to I try to keep up with like world events and like what's going on. So and that's tough. That's a full-time job right there too.
Yeah, that's exhausting.
Standing up and holding the line is tough. Yeah. So I mean, right here in our own little town here, Nazareth, I don't know if you know, there's like this group of like moms, I guess you call it. They're like taking on these mask mandates, like going to like these not PTA meetings. I don't know what you'd call them, like a school board meeting and stuff. Yeah. They're like standing up outside there. They're like, I mean, they're in the fight. More power to those moms, man. Like I didn't know Nazareth had such,
I saw a couple of I saw a couple of people were like protesting, and it's funny because I live here and didn't see it, and then I saw it online, and I'm like, that's like a block away.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I had no idea that like this quiet little town that we grew in, that we had such like warrior women, like answering the bell here. Like that's cool. I mean, Nazareth men, I don't, you know what I mean? You better stand up a little bit here. I don't know,
Yeah, there's a lot going on heavy with the school stuff. I have friends that are teachers, and I interact with a lot of people, so I see it from like different angles, and it's a war zone out there right now with that stuff. I have a friend who teaches, and they have these mandatory meetings, and they come there, and it's like you have to hear both sides, and she's just sitting here being like, I just want to go home. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, I worked all day, and then I got to come here and just listen to all this, and I don't know, man. It's a weird time. It's definitely a weird time, but like I enjoy and I'm sure it's similar in your position where like I enjoy like that I'm in control of what I'm doing. Like if I was working in a restaurant right now, like what I used to do, or if I was still at the post office, I don't even know if I'd be able to put up with like being told what I could and couldn't do. And like, dude, especially in the restaurant business where like if we wouldn't have an employee to like cover a shift, and like back in the day, it sucked not having employees anyways, let alone no one wanting to work now. Like I'm very blessed to like be getting by and have this little thing that like, like what you were saying, how like you get away with hunting. Like, sometimes it's like, man, I got a lot to do today. And I'm like, yo, dude, why don't you take a deep breath, because you're just about to meet this guy and have like an hour of time that you would never have with that person to like really get to know him and showcase all these cool things about you. And like, we would have to know each other for forever to have this interaction, but so like, I take that as like these blessed moments where I'm like, I just kind of enjoy that I'm in control of what I'm doing, because if I wouldn't be, I don't know where I'd be at if I had kids and all that stuff. I don't know what my stance would be on any of that stuff, and the people that have to go through it right now, like it's exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I definitely understand that. Like, I don't have any children. Obviously, I'd like children, but like I don't have any personally. So like, I'm not really in that fight. But then again, I'm also for freedom. Freedom of choice. And I feel like if we're at a crossroads. I feel like in this society and culture where they're not coming after it all, but they're just taking little pieces, little pieces. And next thing you know, little pieces. Well, it went from this to all of a sudden that. Yeah. And then at that point, it's like, we got you. You know what I mean? Like you have no power at all. We're gonna, I almost feel like, in a way, I feel like the government has become so big that I don't know how we're gonna, be able to say no. Like, this is not what we want. They're going to be like, we don't care what you want, we'll mandate it, or we'll force you, like you said, like businesses can't come in here without a mask, schools can't come here without a mask on. It's like, people should be able to have the choice and the freedom to do whatever they want to do. And the other thing that I don't really understand is during this whole pandemic thing, you know what I've never heard? Go to the gym, exercise.
Yeah, I see people post that stuff.
Never seen it.
Yeah, they're never concerned with any of that stuff.
No, because it kills people, and that's why. And that's if they really cared about our safety, they would be promoting that. Gyms would have never closed. They would say, hey, the kids from
that guy from Jersey like fought tooth and nail, and then it was almost like Jersey knew they were in the wrong, but just had to keep going because they were like, I guess we should. Like, I just feel like there's never an apology, or no one ever like acknowledges that like the stuff goes on. Yeah, and it's like, I don't even care if you want to sit here and be like, no, that doesn't happen. There is an instance of it happens, just like there's an instance of it not happening. But like, to ignore that it's not going on at all is what you were complaining about from the other point of view. And that's like, well, now we're back in the same boat, except for you're doing what you said we were doing, and then we were supposed to be at this point that you said this is going to be different, and then nobody wants to talk about anything going on because they're just happy the president's not tweeting.
Right.
I
seen this meme the other day. I'll go for $1.79 in a mean tweet right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, but this is also like part of your show in the intro. Like, you kind of give like your speech about your beliefs and what's going on. And I like that you did that too.
Yeah. So I figured that was, like I said, I don't want to put myself at the forefront of every episode, because that just becomes redundant. But I do want every episode to get my word out there, and
you do it short and sweet in the beginning of the intro, and I think like how you ended is like "come take it" or something.
Yeah. It basically said, at the very end, it says, they want to seize our wild memories, and then if they try, come and take it. I got something for you. You know what I mean? It's like, freedom is only one generation away from being taken away. And being someone that served this country overseas, I love this country. I was willing to lay my life down for it, and I still am willing to lay my life down for it. And I think that there's been a few generations of people that have forgotten about World War I, World War II. They made Vietnam to be something that, that was a mistake. Hey, it doesn't matter. Bullets were still flying. People went over there.
My dad was in Vietnam.
Right. There was a draft. Yeah,
he was drafted. I look at sometimes my father's life and I'm like, what I did when I was 18 and like now being 40 and looking at like what I knew at 18 and then being told I had to go fight for the country. Like my father is still screwed up from it. He's just starting to get compensation for it. That like is because like my parents are retiring, but like my dad had a heart attack and then like he's had depression issues the entire time, and whatnot. And it's like it's just starting to pay off now. At the end of, you know what I mean? Like he's lived such a long life, but I look at where like that would be crazy for me. I don't know what I would have done at 18-year-old having to do that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like there's, especially if you go back to this is why I did that cancel culture opening, because cancel culture isn't just about, oh, you said something I don't like, cancel him, or oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Cancel culture is we're canceling your freedom. We're canceling your way of life. We're canceling your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions. We're canceling your illusion of democracy. We're canceling that. And if we don't stand up now, I'm telling you, they're gonna take it. They openly let it be known. They tell us that we have to have masks on and we have to stick a needle in our bodies. But then they also say, oh, by the way, 150,000 illegal immigrants are going to come into this country. I mean, what the hell is that? If it was that serious, that wouldn't be happening. If it were that serious, we would still be in a lockdown situation. You would see people dead lying in the streets like zombies walking around,
or be stuck like Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and what did Australia do? They cowered down to their government. They piecemealed them. They took them a little. Boom. They took.
Yeah, they showed something. Somebody got arrested for getting food from McDonald's.
Yeah, I saw that, and they got maced on the ground and stuff. I was like, man, that must be one good burger, buddy.
Yeah, I mean that's why sometimes I'm like I always dreaded being stuck in this town, and then I'm just like, all right, I'm cool here.
Yeah,
there's nothing's phased, so it's like I can do my little show and move on and everything. No, I just wanted to bring that up because it is a part of your show, and you have the right to put any spin on it you want. And I like that you're not, you're allowed to do that on the channel. And, you know what I mean? Like it's you're allowed to do
very
it.
Open.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very open, very permitting of giving your opinion. They're a real free organization, a free company. They say whatever you, because hey, there's shows on there that are opposite of what I say.
Yeah. And I've talked to people on this show that have opposite views, and and then it's like, but I'm not going to just have them on and then not allow you to say what you want on here. That's like
the beauty of America.
Yeah,
they're allowed to have their opinion, and I have mine. But when we make it to where only one opinion is allowed to be spoken, only one thing is known as truth or fact. Like I always say this. There's these Facebook I don't know what they call them. They're like, oh, the COVID-19 facts.
Oh yeah, where they come up. I thought that was
this
weird.
Is starting to get ridiculous.
I thought it was weird that social media started getting involved, and then you start wondering what backed here and what backed there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just like that you were allowed to do that, and then I was like, oh okay. I'm like, that's his opinion and whatnot, but it's your show,
right?
And but it's like you say your little piece, and then the show is hunting and whatnot. But I'm glad that you got to put your stance on it. Moving forward with your new season and everything, where do you want the show to be landing into season 3 with the, you put a lot of work into this, because what did I watch? Season 1?
You only watched season 2. I still have season 1. I could send that to you.
Yeah. I'd love to watch it.
Yeah, so that's season 2, episode 1, 2, and 3.
And then what I watched is the first, because you're doing now
5 through 10.
Yeah.
5 through 10 will be starting on Tuesday. Yeah, so 1 through 5 is what I sent you, and then 5 through 10 will be starting on Tuesday, and that'll run all the way till January 1st.
And then where do you want season 3 to be as a whole? Is that where you're going to do the turkey stuff, and then that'll kind of be like?
Well, no, turkey stuff will be in there. Turkey
stuff's going to be season 2.
Yeah, it's in there. You'll see it's episode 9.
Oh, all right, yeah.
The fly down party.
yeah. So then season 3, where do you see that growing it to?
Season 3, where I see that going is to, I think we're going to build more. I think we're going to start delving into my life, more of, hey, this is where I'm from. This is what I'm, we're going to start doing more of like, area reference stories, like, because I turkey hunt in Plainfield. Well, I'd like to do a little story on Nazareth, Yeah,
that's a solid transition, man. Yeah. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, more story building stuff.
Which is only going to help that when you get, because I would guess when you were talking about going on these like Alaska hunts and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for you to learn how to do the storytelling is way more important than to jump into Alaska.
Yeah.
Because if you can tell that story, now you're telling the story of going to Alaska.
Exactly.
You really learned a shitload in that class.
I'm telling you. Hey, a lot of trial and error too. Buddy.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. When we talked on the phone, it immediately clicked, and I was like, man, I can't wait to talk to somebody. Like, I love having other people on here that are like in the trenches, figuring out the editing, not saying no. A lot, like, just go. Absolutely. All right, cool. Let's do it again. Do it better. Like, holding yourself to a standard, holding other people to a standard. Like, you really give a shit about your work.
Oh, dude, I eat, sleep, and breathe it. Like, it's 24/7, 365.
Same
I mean,
here,
when
brother.
I wake up in the morning, it's wild memories. Yep. Like, I'm that guy. I'm that guy that meets a girl at the bar, and she's like, "Oh, I like this guy. I like him a lot." And then within 20 minutes, she's like, "Shut the fuck up about wild memories, man." What about my earrings?
Yeah.
So I'm that guy. But you know what? America needs those kind of men, man. The people that are dedicated and driven and just hell bent on success. Yeah,
I mean, it's the stuff that people doesn't see, and then when somebody, then when the show pops, they're like, oh, this guy's show's cool, and then you don't ever see the amount of work that went into it, unless you followed somebody from the beginning, like when I was telling you, like following McGregor, or like even like listening to early on Joe Rogan, and then seeing like how the show changed from like him just bringing people on and being positive, and then like he just kept interviewing so many different people, and then his interviewing style changed, and then it just became this platform, and then it just boom, 300 million, and then now you're on Spotify, and but like fuck Joe Rogan, it's like, dude, I watched that guy from fucking, doing YouTube shit and doing stuff on TV and being a comedian to building an empire. And it's like,
pretty
nobody
much
ever sees the hard work.
Yeah, no, and no one appreciates it.
No.
No one,
Rogan's an asshole. It's like, dude, that guy can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
You know how hard he worked to get up there, to get somebody to then even have a show so big where he's like, give me $100 million. And they were like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Hey, you don't ask, you don't get it unless you ask.
You know what I mean? And then his demand, and then like what's funny with him too is like, and people I know shit all over him, and I'm like, yo, like he's still giving you like he didn't settle for them to change anything with his show.
Right.
So you're still like, he got paid and the show didn't change. That is so unheard of.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But so that was my rant on that shit, though.
I'm gonna try that next year when I go into sportsman show.
Yeah, I want $100 million.
Yeah. I'm gonna try the Joe Rogan move. I'll say, you gave me 6, you gave me 10, now I want $100 million. We'll see how it goes.
Well, they haven't said no yet.
No, exactly. Let's keep it rolling.
I'm gonna get you out of here, man. You drove all the way here. I appreciate you coming in studio. I appreciate you answering my DM without ever not even knowing me.
Yes, sir.
What a fantastic program you've done. I was looking forward to this interview so much because after talking to you and then seeing your show and then hearing the whole story and putting it all together, like you bust your ass, man. You bust you can tell that you're a worker. You like to work. You like to put your boots in the shit and get out of the holes. I love every aspect of what you're doing. If you ever need help with anything, if you ever want to do any more podcasts or whatever, the door is wide open. This has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you again for coming on. I want to give you a moment to re-plug all those sponsors and all those people that help you out.
Yes,
and just thank you again for even coming up here and doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, when you slipped into my DMs, first I hoped it was a girl, and then I said, who the hell is this guy? I said, what's up, buddy? No. I said, okay, this is a good opportunity, and then when you said you were from Nazareth, I'm like, I'm from Nazareth.
Yeah, because Mike was like, yo, he's super close. Because sometimes when you talk to people, it's like, hey, then you go through all the steps and they're like, well, how far is the studio? And then it's like, I don't want to drive. And it's like, I try and offer as much as I can with, high quality stuff. I feel like the interviewing at this point, like I do a good job enough to where it's content. Like you would be proud to share your story. Right. So like, it's not easy to get people to come to this town at all. Right. I'm going, the next studio, it's going to be a lot easier. I got big fishing bait. I got my fucking licorice smell for the bears.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be it's worthwhile now, but it's like it'll pay tenfold with the new place. So
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I appreciate you having me on. I just want to, for anyone who's listening to the program, who's a hunter or anything, if you need binoculars, I have, my company personally sells Alpine Optics, and we can hook you up with anything you need. If you're in the game of urine for deer, we have Rubline Sense. I definitely can hook you guys up with that. Again, that's anyone listening, not you, your brother or someone like that. If you want to watch the show, it's on Sportsman's channel. It's currently running right now. It is Tuesdays at 6:30 a.m., Thursdays at 8:30 a.m., and Sundays at 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. So it's a morning hunting show. Get a donut, get a cup of coffee.
That's awesome.
And make sure that you watch it. And you can DVR it. Don't forget to DVR, because I still get the view there for that one. Like I said, local business. And then I also have WM Media, which is basically the brainchild of this whole operation. So, if you have a small business and you need any kind of advertising, editing, video, photography, footage, you can call me. You can find me on Instagram at Chris Davidson 12488_WMTV. Or you could, oh no, that's right, I changed it. I'm sorry, man. Man, what a screw up. At Chris Davidson.
I'll have it in the all the stuff as well.
Yeah. At Chris Davidson _WMTV. And then you can follow the show at www.wildmemoriestv.com. And again, we're on the Sportsman's channel, man. Anyone that, look, if you want to email me, if you have any kind of filming camera questions, we're thinking about getting into the film school game, doing like some online tutorials and portals and stuff like that, man.
You can build a YouTube channel off of that.
Exactly. Don't be scared to reach out to me. You can direct message me, as Mike did, or you can, email me. I answer every email. I read every email. Anyone who's a fan, I definitely interact well. So I just appreciate you having me on, man. I really do.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll do it again. Anytime you want to promote anything you got going on, maybe even do it with my brother and Mike. That'd be fun just for you guys to share hunting stories and shit. Anyone who is a first-time listener, first-time watcher of the show, you can go to neveragainstudio.com. That has everything from our YouTube channel. It has all previous podcasts. It has anything connected to Never Again. You can get your apparel on there. If you have any apparel needs, you have a company, you need apparel made. I work directly with Axelrad. Brand new to what we're doing this year, we do Nazo Ammo, so Keystone Munitions. I promise he's going to be on next week. I know I say that every show, but I locked Jeremy down. We are going to talk about how Keystone got started and how we created Nazo Ammo with him. So if you have anything at all, I have 9mm available right now. I should have 45 and 5.56. Hit me up about that directly, or go to the website. That's nazoammo.com, neveragainstudio.com. Please check out all of his stuff, and I appreciate you coming here so much, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.